Hello everybody, my name is Christian Quick, and welcome back to another video. Now, we are not going to be starting in the items or blocks because we're going to be talking about paintings, and paintings are going to have their own class file, kind of like how we have block and they have their own file and item. Painting is not necessarily, well, it's kind of like a block, I guess, but it's a special kind of block, so special that it requires its own package. So let's make a new package and call it painting. And then in painting, let's make a class, and we can just simply call it mod paintings. Now in here, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we could put in some paintings, but we're going to need, they need to be followed by a register. So let's go for a private static, and then it's called painting variant. And then we're going to register painting, in which it is going to need a string, and that string is going to need a name. So this is going to be the name of the painting. And then we're going to need a painting variant, and the painting variant is going to be a painting variant, which is basically going to be the talking about the size of the painting, because it does follow like that. So from here, we're going to return the registry, just one with a little t on it, dot register, and then we're going to do registries dot painting variant. And then we can do new identifier with the string ID. And then this is where we're going to call our mod, the HMH3. So whatever your mod is, call it whatever that is. Dot mod ID. And then we're going to need to call it by the name. Oh, mod ID needs a comma. And then outside of the name, we are going to need the painting variant. From out here, you can put your little semicolon, and that is the main register. But we are going to need one more little thing. We can call it out like this. Oop, and I'm not actually out of the thing. There we go. One more thing. So we're going to do a public static void. And the reason why this one's void is because this is what we are going to be calling register paintings in our client. Well, not the client, but the initializer. And this one's got nothing in it. So then we're going to put on here, we're going to call for hmh3.logger.info, and then this is basically going to say registering. I spelled it wrong. Registering, thank you. Paintings for, and then we'll put a space in here, and then you can do plus, and then do hmh3 dot the mod ID. That's just a little extra fancy note for the info. You don't really have to make it look that fancy. But then we're going to need to call this register paintings. We're going to call that in our special thing up here, and we're going to do that above the registries. So we're going to do mod paintings dot register paintings. So now that this is put in our initializer, we are now registering our paintings. You can tell which one gets initialized because this one is void. The one that gets static, one that you have returning, this is when we actually making a painting. And we're going to be making basically two paintings. So let's make the first painting. So let's call this one for public static final. And then this is a painting variant. And now we are going to name our painting. We're going to name it twice. So just like how we do blocks and items, the first name is going to be in all caps. So I guess this one I'll just call it logo, and then I'll just make it my little logo, I guess. And then here we're going to do register painting. And then here we are going to need to do the name. As you can tell, it says name. So here we're going to call it the logo. And then here we're going to do new. And then you can tell that I need the painting variant. And painting variant is going to need an integer in width and integer in height. Now these painting variant, the integers need to be, so 16 by 16 is going to be worth one block. So this would be a 1 by 1 painting. I can do a 16 by 32. This would be the painting where it's 1 wide but 2 high. They need to be 16 by 16. I haven't tried and made a painting. I'm just going to assume it would crash, or maybe there would just be like a black line. I don't feel like testing it, but I'm just saying that if you want an official painting, you gotta need to make sure that they're dividable by 16s. So for this one, we're just gonna literally make this 1 by 1. You can make it as many blocks as massive as you want. I would never make a painting like bigger than like 4 by 4, which that would be 64 by 64. Because in survival, it almost becomes like unreachable, and the painting becomes so big it's almost kind of hard to do it. Now, I'm also going to put in the other one. Let's do public static, oh, did I spell static right? Final? I don't know. Painting variant. Okay, now we're fine. Let's do animated, P-A-I-N, animated painting. And this is going to equal the register painting, and we're going to do the same thing. All lowercase, animated painting. And then let's do new painting variant. And then once again, actually, no, let's make this the what I was talking about, the 64 by 64. That way you can kind of see it, I guess. It's not going to be a really cool painting, but for now we're just going to keep it this large. All right, and then just so I don't forget, in our textures, we're going to add a new directory, and then this one is going to be called painting. P-A-I-N-T-I-N-G, painting. And then this is where we are going to shove our paintings in here. But I don't have paintings yet, so why don't we just go ahead and make the paintings? Alright, I changed my mind. I'm going to have the logo be 64 by 64, and the painting variant for the animation is going to be the other one, 16 by 16. Sorry about that. Alright, so when it comes down to 16 by 16, this would now be our animated painting, right? And so let's just fill this in with red. It is red. We now have a red painting, and its animation at this point would only be one singular frame. And it would loop, and so it doesn't look like it would animate. So how do we make it look like it's going to animate? I would have to create a new file, and with its height and width, I would need to increase its height, and if I want 2 frames, I would double it. If I want 3 frames, I would triple it. So basically, for every frame I want, I'm going to want a bigger size. So let's say, for instance, if I had a calculator here, just to show you. So let's say I want to make a rainbow and I need 6 frames. You do 6 times 16, because we're doing a 16 by 16, I would need 96. And then let's say I wanted to add in the white, black, brown, so that would be 9 frames. And so if I did 9 times 16, that would be the 144. So let's make this thing pretty large, or just simple. We can make a little rainbow one. I don't mind that. And like I said, that would be 96. So here we have 96. And so the frame is going to work. Frame 1 is going to be the very top one. So we got 1, 2, and this would go all the way. So this would be 0, 0, all the way to 16. And this would be the first frame. And then basically, if I wanted to, all right, so let's grab a purple, nice deep purple. That's, there we go. And then let's fill in purple. Oop, thinks I'm still selecting something. And let's fill in the purple. And then let's make sure that this is a whole 16 by 16. That's 17, so that's 16. Actually, I just realized that if I keep the selection here, I think I can only paste what's in here. So if I actually, so before purple, we got blue, so let's add the red in here. Make it a little less vibrant, so it hurts my eyes just a little bit less. And then I believe if I fill, yeah, it'll fill in. So I totally forgot I could do that. I don't know why I decided to make this backwards, but I am. it didn't fill in that line. So we have to do it a little manually. There we go. From here, I can cheat a little bit. We're just going to copy the purple and blue, Control-C, Control-V, and then we're going to pick it up above here. And now I can just use the fill colors. All right, so we got, I don't want to be too vibrant. So now we have a red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. That red is probably a little too vibrant. Let's tone that one down. All right, so that is less vibrant for the eyes, so we'll be able to handle this. And so now this whole texture, although it is 16 by 96, each frame is 16 by 16, and I'll show you how those get registered by, like an animated painting, but not export like that. We're going to export as, and then we're going to call this the animated painting. Boom. So let's go in our pictures, and then we have our logo and painting in here. We're going to throw it in there, and painting is, although in here, it's going to say that this is a 16 by 96, so it's only registering this as if this was the size of the painting, and that's not true. We have to add a new file, and this is going to be called the name of the painting, like animated, animated painting dot png. So you are going to need the extension of the file. So it's that way it knows exactly that this is the entire the picture that is getting animated, and then you're going to put .mcmeta. An MCMeta file is a special thing where it's basically going to basically animate it for us. We can do that through its animation. Let's tab this a little bit. That way it looks a little nicer. So we got animation. We're gonna colon, put a little thing in here, and then we're gonna need a frame time, and then so this I believe is talking about like in ticks. So how many ticks does it take from it to change from one painting to the next? So if I set this to 20. In 1 second, it'll go from red to orange. In 1 more second, it'll go from orange to yellow. In 1 second, it'll go. So why don't we set this to 100? That way, it is a slower, so it takes 5 seconds to change from one to the other. And then my next favorite one is actually called interpolate. And this means that if this is false, this would say in 5 seconds it'll go from orange and just slam. All of a sudden or red, and then all of a sudden, bam! It is now instantly. It's been 5 seconds. It instantly changes to the next frame, kind of like a slideshow, how it just instantly just goes from one to the next. But if I take this and I call it for true, then what it's going to do is it's going to say, here is the frame, and let's slowly change it within 5 seconds. Let's slowly change it from one painting to the next. And I personally, I love interpolate, to interpolate things, because I just think they look really cool. So here we're now going to call for frames, and in here, this is where we want our animation style to go. So from here, this is where we're going to call it. So if I said frame 0 is going to be talking about this, because Java always starts at 0. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I said 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll just do the commas because that's going to confuse me. So if the pattern basically looks like this, then what it is going to do is it's going to go from the red to orange to yellow. I can put these in any order that I want. If I said I wanted this to be 0, 0. And then if I wanted to add as many, I can add as many frames as I want. So as long as they are real colors, not 6, they have to be existing colors. Oop, I meant to do 0. So if I did this, this would be red, red, orange, red. Uh, well, you get the point. It'll be the color of whatever it is. You can add as many frames as you want. What it's basically going to do is it's going to recognize what frame it is on, and as soon as it gets to the end, it's going to loop it all the way back to the top, and then it's going to start all again. So it doesn't pay attention to how large the painting or the size is. What it's going to pay attention is how many of these are there, and when it's done, it's going to put it out to the beginning. Now, I'm going to put it back at 5, and then we're going to do the 1, 2, just so that it looks nice. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and get rid of that comma. So now this is all completed. So we got the animation and everything in there. This should be all set and ready to go. So now the paintings are completed. We now have the painting and our other painting. They exist in the world, or sort of. They exist in the game. They're coded perfectly fine. But if I grab a painting and I place it, it won't do anything. That is because we are going to need to look into our data, Minecraft, tags, and then there is painting variant called placeable, and we are going to need to add both our frames in here. So HMH3 colon logo, and then the other one called animated painting. And now these two should be initialized perfectly fine. They are now able to be placed in the world. That is the last step and probably the most important. Otherwise, they're in the game. They're working perfectly fine. You did nothing wrong, but they just won't place with your painting. So let's now open the world and let's take a look at how they look. Alright, here we are in our beautiful Minecraft world, and I decided to use a quartz wall so that you can see that this is a 4x4. So paintings are really interesting because of how they are placed. If I put it over here, suddenly it's over here, and then if I place it down here, it's also 2x2. You need to place it in the middle for it to work. Eventually, we're going to get, oh, there it is, there is the logo. So that is the logo, which I set to the 4x4. And then the last one, to make this a little bit easier, we're going to just go like this until I find it, because there is a lot of singular 1x1s. So eventually you go through them and you will get that animated painting. There it is. So here it is in blue stage, and then it should be going to purple, and then it's gonna go to red. Yep. And then it's going to go to orange. So here you can tell that they are slowly, they are changing. It is really nice. Let's see if I can get a full board of this. Hello, it is I, the editor. If you've noticed that this video has come out late, that is because I was sick. I still technically am, but I'm feeling a lot better. But the video still came out late. So I mean, obviously, I mentioned in the previous two videos that I was sick, so I kind of saw that this may have come to be, but hopefully, you know, this one just comes out late today, but every other video should still be going on to their daily schedule, used as normal. So with that in mind, we can get back into the video. Here we are, and we now have the almighty wall, and it's gonna do its thing. But it's really nice when you use interpolate. The interpolate. If I change this false, then it would just go red. It would just red, orange, yellow, green, and it would basically change from this instantly. But the interpolate is pretty nice. Where it just fades from one to the other. You can always test it if you like. Just test a couple things if you want. But that is the summary for paintings. What is really interesting about the MCMeta file is that this will work with anything that has a texture. Anything that has a sizable that points to a texture, because remember, it's the name of the file .png .the MCMeta file. So when you're doing that .png, that file, You can put this on any item. You can put this on any block. So looking back at any of our code, when we have simply anything in our textures, because they simply have that .png file, we could have this texture. We can have the items texture. And for block at least, I know they do this in Prismarine. In items, I don't know if they have any animated items. But I do know that the Prismarine block is one that actually does it. So even if we look inside of let's go in the official Minecraft folders for a moment. Let's go into the assets, Minecraft, textures, block, and then if I look up my favorite block, Prismarine, and you can see how it's got this MCMeta. Now this one, it goes from 0 to 1 to 2, 0, 3. So this is how they make it go back and forth between all the textures. So there are 4 textures because the highest number is 3. It's got 0, 1, 2, and 3. And then if I actually look at the Prismarine, here it is. That's how I could tell that it had 4 textures. It goes from here to here to here to here. But it's going back and forth into different, and then it just loops. So theirs is even slower than mine. Mine's a lot more like mine is 3 times faster. I feel like this is a very nice subtle where you can watch it change and you'll notice that it's changing. Prismarine, you can see it changing, but it is very, very subtle. This is 15 seconds to change from one frame to the next. So to make an entire full loop of this takes forever. So I feel like keeping this 100 is really good. Um, but it is what it is. But anyways, for now, that is going to wrap up today's video. If you do want to just like copy and paste this, you could probably copy the Prismarine and put it in your file, so you don't have to type it out manually like I did. But if you already did it, props to you, I guess. If you're having troubles, you should probably just copy and paste it. It's really not that hard. But anyways, for now, that is going to be it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and without further ado,